Hello there, boys and girls. Fury79 once again back on the old Coolbreez review. Today we've got another two. We've got cheesecake and pina colada. So without further ado, fresh battery, off the charge for about, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour. Used only to burn off any excess, nice and clean. Pretty much a brand new wick. So let's go ahead and see what the vape like. Okay, again it is the Virgo vapes range. I think this is the last of them I've got to do before I hit the Cool Teaser, as the other range is called. I can't remember if I mentioned that in the last video. Again it's 24mg nicotine, 50/50 PG/VG ratio, and I will start with a cheesecake. And I've been sort of intrigued about cheesecake flavours for some time. It's got a very biscuity flavour. Now, back when I first started out on this little YouTube venture, I was offered some juices for the purpose of review. One of them was cheesecake. I ended up going with candy cane, and which is nice. It was a nice sort of mentally minty flavour. But anyway. But I sort of eschewed the cheesecake flavour, thinking it probably wouldn't work. But here we go. Not the same brand as that particular one back then, but Virgo Vapes, cheesecake. Here we go. Cool. That is biscuity. A very overpowering taste of biscuit, actually. Let me just clean out the drip shield and the drip tip, just to make sure I've not got any moisture from a different flavour. But from initial taste testing there, that is very, very biscuity. Which of course, you know, biscuit is a big part of cheesecake, but then so is the cheese, which I can't remember exactly what it was, not being a cooking expert. I'll just clean out the shield and we'll try that again. There's a little bit on there, but I'll reload it. Not a lot of moisture in the shield there. There we go, we'll reload it. Oh no, actually, now I'm getting a cheesecake aftertaste. Okay, we'll try again. Yeah, it is in there. Bit of condensation occlusion there, maybe. But I think if you're a cheesecake fan with this particular flavouring, now I've never had any before of cheesecake flavours before. Like I said, I missed the opportunity last time round. I think if you're going to be a cheesecake fan, I think you're probably going to have to do it on a lower nicotine level, because I'm definitely tasting the nicotine quite a lot here. Definitely a very light flavour. But you get that creamy aftertaste once you've inhaled and exhaled. It leaves like almost like a residue on the tongue and on the hard palate, and just on the back of the soft palate I can feel it as well. But definitely that creamy sort of biscuity taste that you would get with a nice big slice of a decent cheesecake. But I think definitely went for a lower nicotine strength for me. Again, these are just my opinions, make of them what you will. Again, great throat hit. Not seeing a lot of vapour on this one though. Burnt hit. Oh yeah, like I said, I don't put a lot on. That'd be why I got burnt hit. Yeah, it's leached down into the bottom of the wick now, as you can see there. So, cheesecake. Without further ado, definitely got that creamy flavour as an aftertaste. I'm not really tasting it as it's coming in and coming out, but then again, that is most likely due to the fact that I feel that creamy flavour is, I won't say subtle, it's definitely there, but perhaps the high nicotine is sort of occluding it a little bit, sort of obscuring it a bit. Perhaps it's something to try on a lower nicotine level, maybe 18 mg or lower. Possibly I'd say 12 actually, to get the maximum flavour out of this if you're a flavour hound. As it is, it's got a lovely biscuity taste actually. It's very biscuity actually. Quite high sort of on my palate at least anyway. So overall, I think I'm going to go straight to scoring with this. Throat hit is great, it's 24 mg, perfect for me. Again, it seemed like a very high quality nicotine in it. It's just, bam, it's there. That satisfaction is there. When I was taking those repeated twos, I was getting a bit nicotine rush, which I haven't had in quite a long time. There's definitely a quality nicotine in that, so throat hit is great. Vapor production on that one, I don't know if I'm having issues with coil or the wick or anything, but I didn't really see as much vapor as I have done before. But then again, I'm being front lit by natural light. So, and if the dogs go crazy, it's because mother-in-law's just walked back in and the door's open, which I don't normally do, but I thought she was out. So, vapor production, I'm going to give it sort of a 5 out of 10 because I didn't personally see it very well right now, but I'll sort of review the video and come back and do a piece at the end. So for the moment, I'm giving it a intermediate 5 out of 10. Flavour, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 because the creaminess is there. It is definitely there, just possibly occluded by the nicotine. But then I do have a very high nicotine sort of fancy, you know, I do love my nicotine quite strong. So overall I'm going to give it, I'm going to be generous, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 because all the right elements are there, but possibly because of my choice of nicotine, it has been sort of obscured. That said, I am going to go on the record and saying biscuity vapes, definitely not my thing. For now, it's not something I would, after trying it now, go out and buy. But then I know Ben, my fellow teammate here on Rooftop 79, he does like cheesecake, so I'll probably send that out to him. So yeah, I think a good solid 7 out of 10 for the Virgo Vapes cheesecake. Right, I'm going to go and clean that wick off. We'll be back in literally. Right, part 2 of today's review. I'm a poet and I don't know it. God, I actually said that out loud. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm very sorry. Anyway, moving on. Pina colada. I'll be honest here, and I was a bit cheeky with this one. I actually tried it off camera. And, wow, very sweet. But let's do some on-screen taste testing. So let's drip on. I'll give this one a good little because I'm going to make this the last one for today, and I'm going to change that wick. There we go. Of course, the old trusty Smyrna one, I go well, short stack, Smock Atomic, 12mm drip tip. Decent vapour straight off the bat, and the first thing that you get on your tongue here. Now, last time I tried a coconut vape, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was vile, absolutely vile. The coconut in this though is very, very nice. I'm presuming there's a coconut in it. It's a coconut sort of flavour. I've never actually drank pina colada in my life. I'm not the sort of person who would, in case you hadn't noticed. I'm an ale drinker primarily. When it comes to the top shelf of drinks, I'm more of a rum drinker and a scotch drinker. So cocktail's not really my thing, but and that's bloody nice. Now, as you'll have heard Mrs. Fury on the unbagging video that I did before I let all these steep, she was like, pina colada, had a sniff, bang. And I think she will probably end up stealing this off me, despite the fact that she vapes at a low nicotine level. Perhaps it will encourage her to come on to vaping full time, because she's still dual fuels. But of course, as we know, every cigarette not smoked is a bonus, so anyway. Moving on. The flavour in that is very, very strong, but by the same token, whilst it's very strong, I forgot to put my finger. Very strong, it is subtle enough to be vapeable. Some of these very sweet, I use the term honeyish. Honey can be very overpowering if taken in large amounts. Whereas this is very, very sweet, it is not honeyish. It's not overpowering to the point of, I could probably stick that in an EVOD and take it out as sort of like a replacement to my main Arga. I'm a Genesis user, but I do take EVODs with me. You know, if I want to bring like a secondary or tertiary flavour, a couple of EVODs in my kit, spare battery, main vaping device, and just chop and change. And at the moment I'm having like a very sort of mentally sore phase as well, but that I can honestly see myself popping into an EVOD and enjoying, actually. Great vapour. Again, that throat hit is just perfect for me. Definitely the same batch of nicotine, I can tell you that for absolute certainty, because the nicotine consistency has been across the 4 different flavours exactly the same, with sort of a constant draw and a constant sort of sucking on the device. I'm getting that same throat hit, that same nicotine hit every time. So kudos to the creators of Virgo. The consistency is spot on for nicotine, absolutely spot on. I cannot applaud it enough, actually, to be fair. It is great nicotine, and I think as much as my group sponsors are probably going to admonish me for saying this, because obviously having group sponsors, I generally tend to buy from them primarily. Great E-Vapes and of course Kraken E6. But this, I think, definitely going to be grabbing some more of that caramel blend. I'll see if they can do 30ml for me on that one, because that was a lovely, and it turns out it is a backy flavour, by the way. I have had that confirmed for me. You know, absolutely beautiful. I'm definitely keeping that bowl. Definitely keeping that bowl. And should probably end up keeping the pina colada as well, if the wife doesn't nick it, though I have high expectations that she will. Cheesecake, probably give away to Ben. Again, I've discovered that it's just not a flavour for me, but it is a very great cheesecake flavour. Anyway, I'm waffling, I digress. We're talking about the pina colada. Flavour, oh, lovely, full of flavour. Right, the high nicotine concentration doesn't include it at all. It's not honeyish, to use my own colloquialism. It is sweet and strong enough to be just like, I presume, the drink. I mean, I don't think I've ever drunk a pina colada in my life, but I have smelt them, and I'm equating the two. The memory of the smell is cock on, absolutely cocksure to the flavour that I'm getting. I'm going to have a vape of that, actually. Great vapour on that one. Absolutely cracking vapour on that one. I can see that that's good vapour. I can see it sort of floating in the air in front of me here thinly. Throat hit, again, that nicotine consistency is spot on. I'm going to actually bump the throat hit now up to a 10 out of 10. That consistency is brilliant. I've only seen that consistency with 3 other vendors, and they are what I would consider to be top echelon vendors. And of course that would be Vaping King, Kraken, and Great E-Vape. So it's definitely a contender with consistency of nicotine. So on that point, that's a 10 out of 10. Again, flavour, I'm going to score this one highly, 8 out of 10. I couldn't do it in an Arga, which is quite, I mean, if I give you look at the Argo. If you don't know what the Argo looks like by now, then of course where have you been? It's an old device now. But that takes a lot of juice. It takes about 3.5 to 4 mil. And I'll happily do that in a day. I couldn't fill that up with the pina colada, but I could do an Evolve, which is roughly half. And I reckon I could probably kill that Evolve throughout the day. So, yeah, definitely a great flavour, 8.5 out of 10. So we've done throat hit, we've done vapour, we've done flavour, and overall I'm going to give that one 9 out of 10. I think the highest I've given it out of this initial taste testing of the Virgo Vapes range. It's great. It's absolutely great. You know, the overall consistency from everything is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So possibly the amount of vapor that was given off on the cheesecake. So anyway, yeah, pina colada, 9 out of 10. Really, really like that one. Not as much as I like the caramel blend. I really, really enjoyed that one, and I think I'm going to probably I'm going out to a family Christmas party tomorrow, Sunday. I think when I take my gear with me, I'm going to have my usual menthol in the Argo tea. I'm going to bring 2 of my 4 Evolves, probably full of caramel blend and pina colada, just for a bit of a chop and change. Just for a bit of chop and change. And yeah, I've got to say, as I said in my previous videos, every time I get something to review, I want to find a reason to hate them. And I have been sorely disappointed. I think the only one out of these I wouldn't ordinarily go for is the cheesecake. And that's purely because it wasn't a flavour that I was overly enamoured with. You know, it's not a horrible flavour, don't get me wrong. It's just not one I would ordinarily go for, I think, now that I've tried it. So, overall on the Virgo Vapes range, I can honestly say, from what I've been given to test, considering the range is probably a lot larger, I'm not entirely certain, but I will give a synopsis once I finish the entire reviews. I think you're going to definitely at least be expectful of a consistency that will run across the range. You know, that nicotine has definitely been the same throughout the whole test of selection that I've been given. Flavourings have been good, very good. And apart from that one little bit of vapour production, no, really can't find a lot to fault it on. Really can't find a lot to fault it on. So overall, the Fury does recommend Virgo Vapes. So, on that note, I'm going to sign off and get ready to do the cool teaser reviews. I've been the Fury 79. You lot, as always, are gorgeous. Peace.